Fingerstyle Thursday. Hello. So today I'm going to bring you 3 different levels of difficulty, which I haven't done since actually Fingerstyle Thursday number 6. So as we hit 36, I thought, you know, it's got 6 in it, let's do that. So it's up to you whether you want to take all 3 levels. You don't have to, but as you heard from me playing it just, I played each one back to back. And if you're looking for the challenge, I said that's the one to go for. The main thing actually, apart from obviously the right hand, I want to talk to you today is a little theoretical. And basically, I want to talk about how to add some flavour to your chords. Now, the kids who did my fundamental theory workshops last year will remember me going on about this. But basically, it's a little bit of every single chord I just played is a C chord. Every single one is a different kind of a C major chord, okay? And that means you have that many options when playing a C chord. How do you come up with this shit? Let's talk about it. Okay, 2 concepts we need to get under our belt. The first is the musical alphabet itself, okay? So that basically means all the notes in order. So if we're just talking sharps, for example, that means you go A sharp, B, C, no B sharp, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, no E sharp, and then F sharp, G, G sharp, and then you're back to A. How that relates to the ukulele is that basically each one of these notes is each individual fret. For example, your first string is tuned to an A. So that means if I play the first fret, that's like me moving to the next note in the musical alphabet. So that means this note is now an A sharp. And again, if I move up another fret, that means that note is now a B, now a C, C sharp, etc., etc. Every single string works this way. So if you know how your strings are tuned, E, then you should be able to find each individual note. So the other concept are keys and scales, okay? So I'm going to have to really skim over this to make it into this video. But basically, we're going to talk about the key of C and a C major scale, okay? So a C major scale uses the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we're back to C. So basically, no sharps, okay? And that's a nice way to think about it because it's nice and obvious, okay? Now, a C major chord is actually, a major chord is always the first note of the scale, which would be C, then the third note of the scale, so that'd be C, D, no, the second, third, cool, so that's an E, fourth, no, that's F, and then fifth is G. So a C major chord is always a C, an E, and a G. G string, C, E string, and then this note here is actually a C. So that is how a C chord is put together. Now, basically, chords can go on for a long time, okay? Because every single chord, sort of, if we talk about C chords, right? It's basically, they're just different combinations of different notes from the C major scale. For example, if a C major chord is notes 1, 3, and 5, so that's C, E, and G, and again I'm going C, D, no, E, yes, F, no, G, C, E, and G. Then the C major 7 chord adds the 7th note of the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So a C major 7 chord is a G, a C, an E, and a B. C, which is 1, not 2, E, which is 3, not 4, G, which is 5, A, which is 6, B, which is 7. That makes a C major 7 chord. And basically all your chords are made up of this concept. So that sort of means that you can add different notes from your C major scale, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, to a pre-existing C chord, and you're creating a different kind of C chord. You're creating a C major 7, a C6, C+2, C+4, you know, lots and lots and lots of different chords. Now, whilst the names can go on for a bit, we don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what actually I'm doing here and how I've worked it out, okay? Now, on the sheet, I've labeled each chord by its notes. So for example, every single chord, I'm going to keep strings 4 and 3 open, and that is a G and a C. So that's sort of the basis of my C chord right there. It's note 5 and note 1. And then I'm going to add 2 extra notes on top of that from the C major scale. So for example, in our first chord, this is a B, which is note number 7, and this is a G, which is note number 5. So as long as you pick notes from the C major scale, then you should basically create a chord that sounds nice and that you're used to. We don't have to stress about the names, okay? So for the first one, I've called that basically 7 and 5, which is 7th fret and 10th fret there, which I'm playing index and pinky. The next chord, there. Now that's basically, that note is an E, and this note is a C. So again, that's sort of a C chord. They're all sort of C chords. But again, all I've picked is, I picked an E and I picked a C because they're in the C major scale. My next chord looks like this. Now this one's interesting because it's an A, which is note 6, and this is F sharp. Now F sharp is called sharp 4, and it's because it's note 4 from the major scale, C, D, E, F, but then sharpened, so sharp 4. Again, can't go into why sharp 4 works better than a 4, but it sounds really nice, doesn't it? Trust your ears with this. So, there we go. That's our A, which again, C, D, E, F, G, A. That's note number 6. And I put an F sharp on the top, which is a sharp 4. There's my next chord. Again, this is a B here, and this is a D here. So again, they're both notes from the C major scale. So still a C chord. Next chord. This is a G with my index finger, and then this is an E with my pinky. Still a C chord. Right, this note here is an A, and this note here is a C. Still a C chord. My final 2 shapes. So again, that's an F sharp, so I'm utilising that sharp 4. Some people call it a sharp 11, can't go into that for today, but either sharp 4 or sharp 11 is fine. And then this note here is a D. So that's note number 2, or again, note number 9. Still a C chord. And then finally, I've got this shape here, which is a G. So that's note number 5 of our scale. And the B, which is note number 7. So it's still a C chord. So every single one of those is some kind of C major chord. So that means actually that you can play them all together because they technically all come from the same family. Somebody says play a C major. Cool, perfect, that's a C major. Or any of those would also work too, but they just had a bit more flavour to the chord. So it sounds a little bit nicer. Right, we suppose we better talk about the actual exercise itself and the right hand. So level 1, we're going to go through every single chord going down, descending. And basically we're going to play our classic arpeggio 3, 2, 4, 1. And this is 16th notes, so we're going 1, E, and then holding it for a whole beat. So we're going to go 1, E, and 2, E, and then we switch. Now your index finger is basically going to do lots of jumping from the 2nd string to the 1st string. Pretty much there. 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string. Now the biggest thing that we need to actually figure out is on your chord changes is whether you prefer using your middle finger for that stretch or whether you prefer using your ring finger. Both are absolutely fine. I prefer using my middle, but they both absolutely work. So see whatever's most comfortable for you and use that. So we're going to go through every single chord with just this 1 E and then hold for 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 2 E and Now that's level 1, okay? So if this isn't your first Fingerstyle first day, then you've done that arpeggio before. It's a classic on the ukulele on the high G. Now just make sure you don't start that too quickly, because otherwise the other ones will bite you in the ass, okay? So just take your time with it and just focus on having the smoothest, calmest chord changes. Okay, so on level 2, basically we still keep the 1 E and A, but we're just going to fill the 2 E and A. So instead of leaving it as a gap, I'm going to go, which ones am I doing? I'm doing 1, 4, 1, 4, which I'm, again, always using middle finger, thumb, middle finger, thumb. So technically I'm going 1 E and A, 2 E and A. See, I lied to you. It's 4, then 1, 4, then 1. 1 E and 2 E and A. So that's 3, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. So basically I'm always keeping alternating between thumb and fingers. That way you can keep the speed going. And again, we're just going to walk down every single chord. And just stop a little bit early for that one to give us some breathing room. So, on level 3, again, we're going to go through all the chords in exactly the same order. We're going to play this lovely arpeggio, but that arpeggio then has some pull-offs going on. Now, on every single chord, you're going to pull off to the open. Why does that work with the opens? Well, that's because this string, my first string, is tuned to an A, which again is from the C major scale. It's note number 6, C, D, E, F, G, A, so it should work. And this note is tuned to an E, which is 1, 2, 3, C, D, E, note 3 from our C major scale. So again, they're both notes within the scale. So if you can just constantly utilize the scale notes, everything sort of sounds not predictable, but put together, and it'll work with less effort. Right, so let's talk about this pattern, okay? It's going to be the same on every chord again, but if we take our first chord, I'm going to play 3, 2, 4, 1, and as soon as I play that first string, I'm going to pull off to an open. Then I'm going to pluck the 4th string with my thumb. Then I'm going to use my index finger to pluck the 2nd string, and that's going to pull off to open also. 3, 2, 4, 1, pull off, 4, 2, pull off. Fills up the space quite nicely, right? And basically, we're going to run through that on every single chord. And that's the job. If you liked this video or thought it was very helpful, consider please subscribing, liking, because it really helps me out a lot. Also, I have a Patreon available where basically the sheets for these are made available every single week for as little as £3. And also in that is included every month I do a live session on Zoom, so you can come and talk to me and ask me anything you like. Probably about ukulele, let's be honest, okay? So you can utilize that time, whether it's about Fingerstyle Thursday, theory, covers you're learning, covers of mine, technique, anything like that. Come and talk to me on Zoom and I'll help you out. Thanks for listening. Love you, bye.